All right, guys, for those of you that follow our journey as we travel around the world in a van, welcome back. This is a new video. We think there may be a few new people that pop into this one because we are talking about medical tourism, getting a major surgery done in a foreign country as opposed to doing it in the United States.
Colombia.
Yes. So if you followed the journey, you know, based on 4 different doctor visits we've had in the past 7 months, I need full knee replacement on my right knee. For the past 7 months, we have been preparing for this surgery, going on a major weight loss journey where I've lost close to 60 pounds, which was good. And I've had a lot of you ask, well, did that ease the pain and can that stop the surgery? It did not. It has helped my left knee a little bit with pain, but the right knee is still, it is shot, it needs full knee replacement, and that's what's gonna happen. So we also get asked, why aren't we going back home to the United States to get this done?
We live in Colombia right now.
Yeah, we live on the road. We live in a van traveling the world. We do not have a home in the United States. When we decided to do this crazy 10 to 12 year journey around the world in a van, we knew we would encounter all kinds of life problems and that we would just stop where we were and address them. And that's what we're doing. Right now, Colombia is home. Colombia is where the surgery will take place. A few little facts to let some of you that know us pretty well now feel a little bit more at ease. I have already done physical therapy. I have already done cortisone shots. I have already done gel injections, and the cartilage is too far gone for any kind of therapy to try to help it grow back. So those are not options for my knee. Now, another thing to put all you guys at ease and to answer some questions for anybody that might be thinking about maybe I need to go to Colombia to get some surgery. The WHO, World Health Organization, their ratings, Colombia's healthcare system as a whole is ranked 22nd in the world. That's pretty good, guys. And to give you a comparison, that same chart ranks the United States 37th in the world. Colombia has a very modern, very good healthcare system. And 9 of the hospitals in Colombia are in the top 20 Latin American hospitals. The hospital we're going to is the 2nd best hospital in Colombia. Our doctors are legit doctors with tons of experience, and we have researched the heck out of them. So I hope that answers all of those questions. Now we got to get back to what this video is about. Where are we going to get this done? It was a tough decision, guys. The doctor being the most important, all the way down to where can we live, because there's a lot of rehab that goes with this. So we came up with a scale. We rated a bunch of different categories at a 1 to 10, and we just added up the numbers and we let the numbers pick where we were going to go. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take you through those categories and tell you which city won out, Medellin or Cali. And at the end, you're going to know where we're going to be living for the next 2.5 to 3 months. We're about to get into the meat of this, guys, but I wanted to let you know that Curt has been incredibly supportive, and this has 100% been my decision. This is a big thing that I need to deal with, so you're going to hear me talk about these categories quite a bit, and then Curt will chime in with his thoughts, but he was very supportive in letting me make this decision, so thank you. It's a big deal.
You're welcome. I view my role really in this is just to make sure that we're considering, or Snow is considering all the things. This is a big life decision for us. She's already kind of gone through some of the things that we've, decisions we made to have it here in Colombia. And I just wanted to make sure that we were considering all the things so she could feel good knowing that we made the best decisions in the end.
Yeah. So the first and most important category was the doctor, the actual doctor that's going to do the surgery. So this was a tie, guys. We liked both doctors for different reasons. The doctor in Medellin, I found through a medical tourism website, made an appointment through a liaison, and then met with him for the first time at our consultation. He put on a very good presentation. He answered all of our questions. He was patient with us, and he stuck to his guns on me having to meet the weight loss goal for a safe BMI, body fat index. He was very, very strict on that. Now, the doctor in Nicaragua, the doctor in Cali was recommended to us by a doctor I liked a ton last spring back in Nicaragua. And I have emailed with this guy several times directly with the doctor, and I thought going into this that would for sure be the doctor I liked the most, and I did. I loved this doctor. We had a very good compatible personality. He was very kind, but in all honesty, he was a little bit more lackadaisical.
Well, when Snow got out of the visit, she definitely really warmed to the guys, and we just kind of went warm to the doctor in Cali, and we kind of went back to some of the key important things. And to be honest with you, the doctor in Medellin had answered a lot of questions, actually pulled out the hardware that was going to go in Snow's knee. When we asked for alternatives, he showed us some alternatives. I thought the doctor in Medellin was a little more thorough and a little kind of more by the book.
Yeah.
But I think Snow had a little early bias based on the recommendation for them. Needless to say, I thought both doctors were
Both
good
doctors.
for different reasons, and I don't think we could have made a wrong. She could have made a wrong choice as it relates to that.
So, the doctor, it's a tie. All right, the next category on the list is the hospital itself, where the surgery and stuff is going to take place. So, in all honesty, when we first went to the Medellin hospital and we were in the waiting area and the consultation area, the hospital feels a little dated.
The windows were open and that bothered her. I didn't even notice, but
To me, a hospital should be closed and air conditioned, but then I had to take a step back and realize I was just in a waiting area, a consultation area. It isn't where the surgeries take place. And then on the Cali side, it was a very modern, very hospital-y feeling hospital.
not as modern as that facility in Nicaragua, but it was still pretty nice.
Yeah, it was very nice, but it was very congested.
It was a very
Hectic
congested
and
area.
busy.
Couldn't find parking around.
Taxis were crazy. It was
find.
chaos.
Yeah, and the reality is we're going to have to visit that hospital several times for the surgery.
Yeah.
So
Then we got the good news that in Medellin, that hospital that was feeling a little bit dated to me and was giving me a little bit of worry, not a lot because it's rated a great hospital, but a few years ago they opened a sister hospital just outside of town that is incredibly modern, and it's, when you look at the rankings, it's all tied into one hospital. They do transplants there, major heart surgery. It is a legit modern hospital. So when I found out that, it would have been closer to a tie, but that gave this one to Medellin.
they're both internationally very well-known hospitals, and so again, something she couldn't go wrong.
Next category, physical therapy. All right, full knee replacement comes with 2 to 3 months of full-on rehabilitation, major physical therapy if you want it to turn out right. We will be renting an apartment. I cannot live in the van while I'm recovering from this. So what we wanted to do is, our plan was do the first week or so with the hospital facility so you can do the x-rays, make sure everything's taken right, and then have a physical therapist come to our apartment and have private physical therapy. In Cali, the doctor's like, oh sure, we could probably make that happen, and I think we probably could have, but there was nothing concrete. We weren't able to find someone to go ahead and talk to about it. And in Medellin, at first they said no. They said, we don't have people that do that. So I did some research. So I found a physical therapist in Medellin that will come to your apartment and do private therapy. And he will go to your first few visits with you at the hospital so there's a smooth transition. And he's incredibly affordable. So that gives physical therapy to Medellin.
Yeah, and when you think about logistics, about going into the hospital, getting in and out of cabs or whatever kind of public transportation,
I'm not speaking the language.
That was a big concern of mine, and so having somebody, a physical therapist who can actually come to the apartment, I think, is a huge plus.
Yeah. All right, the next one, the price. One thing I didn't address at the beginning of this is, if I was to do this in the United States, even with decent health insurance, at my age, there is a high chance that insurance would deny it and we would be paying outright for it. And you're looking at $45,000 to $50,000 as a reasonable cost for that back in the United States. So hold on to your hats, because this is going to freak y'all out a little bit, because even though we have insurance here, international insurance, and we don't know if it's going to cover it or not, we won't know till afterwards when we submit the claim, but Medellin comes in at the surgery in the hospital about $4,500. Yes, $4,500 for surgery, doctors, anesthesia, lab work, 2 nights in the hospital, everything.
Including the physical therapy, right?
No, physical therapy because we're hiring the private guy.
Okay.
The physical therapy would be around $600. And pre-op stuff, we don't have a quote for that, but I'm just thinking that's going to be around $250. So, what do we got? $5,300. Medellin. Cali, a little bit more pricey. I'm not sure why. I don't know if the hospital costs are more or how that works. But for the surgery, the hospital, anesthesia, and all of that comes in around $6,000. We do not have a price for physical therapy. We're unable to get a commitment on that. And I put in the same $250. So $5,200 to $5,300 in Medellin, $6,200 to $6,300 in Cali. Medellin wins this one because it's cheaper. I think you're starting to see a trend. But we have more categories. The next one is these hospitals down here in Colombia, the major hospitals, have international offices that are designed to assist people like us. People that come in to Colombia to have procedures. Now, initially, right off the bat, I was working with a lady in Medellin, great communication. It started with emails, it went to WhatsApp. She attended the first appointment with us, walked us through the process, helped me pay for that, filled out all the paperwork, translated when we needed to, right there with you the whole time. And she's nice. She's very sweet. Her name's Stephanie.
Well, it's really important for communication with something like this because the language barrier.
Yeah.
It's just huge.
Yeah. Now in Cali, since I was having direct communication with the doctor, we were not in touch with the international office before the doctor's visit and didn't even know one existed. But while we were at the doctor's office, he connected us with the international office and they kind of took over on getting us the quotes and trying to help us find some living arrangements and stuff like that. They were very helpful, but there was 3 or 4 different ladies we had to work with and it was all done by email and it just seemed a little more like I was a number instead of a name.
Yeah,
they did a great job.
But the doctor did speak fluent English.
Yes.
So in terms of being any communication issues on that end, there were none.
Yeah.
The doctor spoke fluent English.
It was difficult to pay though, because the lady you paid in the office know English and stuff like that. But both hospitals offer the service, but I already had a personal connection with Stephanie in Medellin, and she did a fantastic job. And this one goes to Medellin. Right, so the next 3 categories kind of all clump together, and it's the living experience. But the first one is neighborhoods that we felt like we would want to live in for 2.5 to 3 months. And in Cali, we found 2 neighborhoods. They were very far apart. One's Antigua, it's close to the downtown area. It is about 20 to 25 minutes from the hospital. Nice little neighborhood, some modern restaurants and shopping and stuff. The other one is called Ciudad de Jardín, which is kind of a suburb of Cali. It is 35 minutes from the hospital, but what we liked about that is the environment was nice and the apartments also have parking lots that our van would be able to stay in. So those are the 2 neighborhoods we found in Cali. In Medellin, we actually, when we were there before, street camped one night in a neighborhood called Lirales, and we like this neighborhood. It has a good feel to it, it's safe, a lot of apartment choices, so we kind of zeroed in on that one in Medellin and actually felt more comfortable there. So Medellin wins the neighborhood category.
You want to touch base on the cost?
The cost. So Medellin is a bit more expensive. The range of apartments we were looking at, and you can get them much cheaper and much more expensive, but for our style of apartment, we're looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, secure facility. We have in Medellin $1,000 to $1,300 a month. In Cali, $800 to $1,100 a month. So Medellin is a little bit more pricey, but seems to come with a few more benefits. The next one, the apartment choices. Medellin is a heavy tourism expat type of city, and Airbnb is big there. So that's what we use as we travel around and we need a place. So it was super easy there. But do you want to tell them about our struggles in Cali?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to a real estate agent, and Airbnb is just not big in Cali. It's not something they widely use, and so there was just dispersed different search engines, and we quite honestly had a hard time even finding places where there was a lot of options in Medellin.
And then the next part of the whole living experience is the vibe of the city. And there was a clear winner on this one. It was a personal choice, but
Yeah, I mean, again, Cali was just a different city. The climate was definitely warmer, maybe not hot and humid, but warm definitely. And I didn't feel like there was as many green spaces and just as much, I don't know, Medellin just had a really nice vibe to it. Active people, really some pretty parks and some rivers and some nice areas. The climate was definitely cooler. So Medellin just had a better vibe from our perspective. Now, opinions vary, but we really liked Medellin.
Yeah. All right. So next category. Both cities have good shopping facilities. Grocery stores close to the neighborhoods. It was pretty close to a tie on this one, but we gave it to Medellin just because we're going to be there for an extended amount of time, and there may be a few comfort things we could get a little easier in Medellin than in Cali.
Well, we actually did shopping in Medellin. I had to get a new pair of shoes, and so
There's
we did a little
legit
more
malls.
functional stuff. We found Cali certainly had all that stuff. We just didn't have quite the experience there.
Yeah. So that one was pretty close, but public transportation, Medellin is an internationally award-winning city when it comes to their public transportation. It has a metro system that is state-of-the-art with cable cars that go to all parts of the city, a train that runs down the middle, rental bikes, taxis, Ubers, a very comfortable walking city. And Cali has taxis, Ubers, and a pretty hectic bus situation. So no trains like Medellin has. And so this one, again, went to Medellin.
Yeah. And I think, our opinions are kind of based on our limited view. We were there in each of the cities for a few days. And so, if you're from one of these cities and our observations weren't accurate, we apologize for that. This is just kind of what we saw and what we used to make the decision. So
yeah. All right, so the next one, which is super important because it is our home, is van security. And I'm going to let Curt handle this one because he's in charge of that.
Yeah, so, it's not only security, but there's also some things that I want to do on the van. If you guys know, our shower pumps down, and also I'd like to do just other little general maintenance. And so having places that are both secure and able to do that, we looked at all of them. There were some Parkaderos and some other places, and Medellin looked like it just had some more options, both close to the office and even a bit out of the city. So again, I'm sure Cali has some places, but we actually located some places in Medellin that we felt pretty comfortable about. So Medellin wins another category.
So the next two items are kind of one, but we rated them as two, or I rated them as two because Curt didn't even know I was putting this into the system because he did not want this to be a factor in our decision at all. But I wanted to take a look at it once everything else was already categoried out, and that is things to do in the city. We're going to be here for 2.5 to 3 months. I'm going to be in physical therapy anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. This guy right here is going to go out of his mind crazy, so I wanted to make sure we were somewhere that he had stuff to do. Now, Cali has some cool parks, a few nice little hikes on the outskirts of town, but Medellin is loaded with cool, interesting history and culture and neighborhoods you can visit. And one of the things I'm super excited about is it's one of the top 10 cities in the world to see Christmas lights. But there's a lot of one-day trips around, there's hikes, there's a lot of stuff Curt can do. And that is not factored in heavily into the plan, but it is. And that's good for me, it's good for Curt, and it's good for you guys because he's going to be able to shoot this and show you, and still you'll be following our journey, but you'll still be seeing cool stuff in Colombia.
Yeah, now for what it's worth, I told Snow, and I truly believe this, I could find all kinds of cool, interesting stuff to get into in either city. I found both cities were pretty awesome. But I am super excited to explore Medellin. And I'm super excited to show you guys a different perspective. We've shown you van life for the last 2 years. This is an opportunity for us to show you really what it might be like if you're an expat or digital nomad or something like that, and you want to consider Medellin as a possible place
Yeah.
to spend some extended time or even move to. And so we're definitely going to be able to show you a little different
different angle.
And we're going to be immersed in the culture and the food. Maybe I'll even learn to speak Spanish better, because that's
Maybe.
going to be necessary.
I don't have to do that. I'm focused on rehab. All right, guys. Medellin it is. We are leaving Cali. We are northbound, headed back to Medellin. If you remember, it was a very long, hectic drive. But on this trip back up, we've got some time because I still need to lose 9 more pounds.
And there's some really cool stuff along the way.
Yep.
We're going back up through the Coffee Triangle, the Andes Mountain. I'm just telling you guys, there is
Stay
some
tuned.
cool stuff coming before we get this surgery.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys in a few days from our next destination, which is supposed to be a really cool place to camp. So with that, thanks guys.
See you on the next one. Cheers.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.